throughout our parenting journey, it can be pretty easy to focus on the negative even if we don't mean it. So today we're going to discuss the importance of your child's strengths. So tell me, Dr. Betty, why is it important for us to play in our children's strengths instead of their weaknesses? Sounds like an obvious question.
It is, and it's not as obvious as you would think it is, because as parents we want the very, very best for our child, and we want to fix any problems, and that sometimes can be our focus, which isn't a bad thing, but I am all for playing to your child's strengths and encouraging those strengths, because a lot of the positive energy that you are going to put to that will make a lot of difference with all the stuff that they are actually struggling with. So when we say focus to your child's strengths, every child has a talent or a skill that they're good at. So what their talents are may be hard to recognize unless you're actually looking out for them. But parents are pretty good at noticing that they've got one child who's talkative, one child who tends to shy back, or they have one child who's great with fixing things and putting things together or pulling things apart because he wants to know how they work. And another child may be great at music and just loves to listen to music, dance to music, always the entertainer, is so sociable and loves to go out and meet people and is the champion of the underdog. So that will be the child who will go out to the playground and find somebody who has a problem and bring them to the teacher because he really wants to help. And those are lovely skills to focus on. And when you focus on those skills, it may be that they have problems in maths or English, but at the end of the day, they are still your child and you love them to bits. And if you can find one thing positive to comment on, you make that day a little bit better for that child. It tends to be children who have learning differences or different abilities in the classroom, where a lot of the focus, quite rightly by the teacher, is on the areas that they're struggling on. So they may have had that information fed back to them over and over and over in the course of the school year, that they're not quite reaching that milestone. They're not quite getting the work that they need to do done, and what they want when they come home to you is to have that supportive, nurturing environment where you focus on their strength. If it's sports or music or whatever it is that they love to do, encourage that, because that will not only give them self-esteem, that they can do something, that there's something that they're good at. It's not everything that they're not good at, but there is also something that if they put their mind to it, they can achieve and they can have normal, happy life doing. So having children who have out-of-school events or attend sports or other activities is really useful, and I think it's empowering for parents to recognize that that's how they're going to put their best case forward. So if you have, and it's also about building that relationship with your child. So sometimes you find that by the time they're coming to you in a clinic setting, they're at the end of their tether. They've got a really rocky relationship with their child for whatever reason, whatever's going on at home. It isn't a happy place either for the parent or the child. So refocusing that relationship on the positives and having some time, maybe once a week or a few minutes where they actually spend positive time laughing or enjoying crafts or something that's non-school related, not related to whatever they're struggling with, is a way of building back that relationship. And what happens, and this is very important for parents, is you store those positives, and that child will store those positives, so that when you do go to correct or to ask them to do their homework or to remind them of a chore that they've not done, they have that background. They know that you've got their back, that you're rooting for them, you're on their team, and that's why they'll want to please you. And that's what all children want. They just want somebody to be happy with them. And when, especially with the young children, anybody under the age of 10, their parents are their main supporters. That's their cheerleading team. They're the people that they want to impress. So it's not so much peers when they're younger age groups, they want to impress you. And if you can show appreciation, notice what they've done. It may be as simple as they got out of bed that morning and they managed to get their uniform on. Thank you for doing that. That was really good. I noticed that you do that. So notice the positives, and that will carry them a long way.
Because it is so easy as parents to focus on the negative. You're so forgetful. You just, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. And it's so easy to flick into that negative.
Yeah, and sometimes I have to recognize it in myself as coming home and finding this lovely, interesting situation where there's lots of pots and pans that are dirty, there's lots of flour all over the floor, and the kids have been baking, and they've got these lovely cookies that they want to share and show you because they've decorated the cookies, and there's sprinkles all over the floor. And what you want to do is not comment on the mess first. Comment first of all on their efforts. They wanted to do something nice. And they've spent their time being creative, and that's something that I want to feed back. I like it when you're creative. Thank you for making these lovely cookies. They taste really nice. Let's do some tidying up.
Yeah, love it. Because I even heard one parent say every negative you need to say 10 positives. Or something. There's a formula like that.
There is, and it's a mindset, and it's a way of parenting that yields so much more positive results in the long run than is some of the negative parenting. So obviously it's not about ignoring the difficulties that your child faces. No, it's about first of all focusing on the positives, commenting on the positives, and then there'll be plenty of time at some point during the day to talk about what we could have done differently, what maybe choices we could have made that would have been different or would have had a different outcome. And that's important too as a part of parenting, but you also want to be the person that your child goes to when they've had a hard day at school, when the teachers have pointed everything out that they haven't done, that you can come home and say, okay, so maybe today wasn't a great day, but guess what? We did this, we did that, and we managed to get through the day. Tomorrow will be a better day.
Yeah, perfect advice. So as parents, we all want our children to be the best they can be, which is why it's so important to play to their strengths. So if you are after a fantastic paediatrician, then definitely contact the team today at Townsville Paediatrics.